NBA fans love to argue about who the 10 best players in the league are. Number 1 still has to be LeBron James. I mean, this guy turned the Golden State Warriors, the 73-win Golden State Warriors, into a meme where they couldn't win a series when up 3-1, and he also made them get rid of their whole entire team to acquire Kevin Durant. So LeBron James is great. Number 2 would be Kawhi Leonard, in my opinion, because he's like the one guy in the NBA who LeBron has to actually care about when he's playing defense on him. But not only that with Kawhi, he also still owns like his Jeep from before he got a big contract, which is cool, but it's also a problem because I'm pretty sure my car is nicer than Kawhi's, and I don't have a nice car, let me tell you. And his offense is really good as well. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard. Kevin Durant, the most hated guy in the NBA. Probably a little bit deserved, let's be honest, as he robbed us of the Warriors and the Thunder, which would have been a fantastic rivalry for a long time. His shot making and shot creating makes no damn sense with how tall he is. And then Cash Nasty's least favorite player, Steph Curry. The jumper makes no sense. His swagger and his on-court something. He's just a really fun player. The kids love him. Andrew Scholes hates him because he's afraid of contact. But he's still one of the best players we've seen in a very long time. Russell Westbrook is mean as hell. He's going to probably average a triple-double this season. I think he's aware of it too. I think he's trying very hard to do it. And he's also turned into the most loved player in the league. Chris Paul might not be as explosive as Steph Curry's shooting or Russell Westbrook's athleticism, but he's your grandfather's favorite modern-day point guard if he still watches the NBA, because he just does everything well. Mr. Fundamental, past Tim Duncan if you will. James Harden, he does everything well, besides defense, but he's still able to lead a team through isolations and pick and rolls. Fear the beard. I don't want to touch his beard if he's driving inside on me. Who the hell knows what's living inside of there at this point? And then you got Anthony Davis, who's on an island in New Orleans. He's got no good players around him. Free AD. Even so, my Boston Celtics still managed to lose to these guys the other night, and I'm still upset about it. But his pick and roll game, combined with his athleticism and defense, he's ridiculous. And then there's Paul George, who is one of the best defensive players in the league today, but he also reminds me of Tracy McGrady with his smoothness and versatility on offense. Now those are your top 9. Personally, I feel the number 10 spot is a little more wide open. There's Blake Griffin, who will dunk on your head at any moment, but his overall offensive game is pretty impressive. It's an awkward post game, but it works. He's a very good passer. Blake is great, rhyming accidentally. There's Kyrie Irving, who is perhaps the toughest guy in the league to stay in front of today, because he's just really damn stupid when it comes to his crossovers, his in and out moves. He has a thin frame, but he's not afraid to go inside, and he's super clutch. There's DeMarcus Cousins, who will dunk on you, yell at you, get a technical foul, and then yell at the ref to get another technical foul. But he's also the closest thing we have to Shaquille O'Neal with his size, strength, post abilities. But what's even scarier is his ability to put the ball on the floor and hit three-pointers. Then there's Jimmy Butler, who I'm going to tell you now, based on his performance this season, might already have solidified that number 10 spot, because his defense was always great, and he's always improving on his shot creating, his ability to dribble, and his playmaking, as he's over 4 assists per game at the moment. And he also has that LeBron James factor of, holy crap, this dude has the ball, he's coming right at me, I better get the hell up out of the way. Jimmy is great. Now if we go over to some more guys in Golden State, there's Draymond Green, who is a head coach's dream, I think I rhymed again there, for his ability to do everything. He can dribble, he can shoot, he can pass at the power forward position. I'm pretty sure Draymond was born as a shooting guard and he kept on growing and he's like, screw it, I guess I'll just figure it out. Now Klay Thompson is perhaps the second best shooter of all time behind Steph Curry if he keeps going. I don't know, he might finish a shade under Reggie Miller or Ray Allen, but he's also a fantastic defensive player as well. I think Damian Lillard also deserves to be in the conversation for top 10 with how he's carried the Portland Trailblazers. So there you go, those are just a few names. There's a few more too. But we're going to see, if we fast forward 3 NBA seasons, who are going to be the top 10 players in the league. We're going to be looking at a few established names, a few that I've already mentioned, as well as some young guys to see who can grow and really join those ranks. And this video is long as all hell, so you better sit back and, well, I don't know. just be prepared to watch a really damn long video as Steph Curry does whatever he does. The first thing we need to look at is, among the top 10, who is someone that could actually drop out? Prime candidate is Chris Paul. CP3 is great, but he's getting up there in age, and if we fast forward 3 seasons, that might be to the point where he just doesn't have the step to really dominate like he does now. He'll still be very good, but when we're talking top 10, that's really tough to maintain when you don't have the athleticism. And when we're talking about age, you could also mention LeBron. Weirdly enough, his hairline keeps on getting better. He's going to be fine, okay? I still believe he might still be the best player in the league if we fast forward 3 seasons. The post game is improving. LeBron's going to be alright. Now, I should say, it would be nice to have had Ben Simmons actually playing to start his rookie season so we could get a better idea of him. It's pretty tough to put him in here for me. And the same thing could be said for like anybody who's not in the NBA at the moment. Like Harry Giles might come in and be a beast, but it's kind of tough to do that for this video, you know? And Brandon Ingram, he hasn't gotten too many minutes for the Lakers, even if he's looked good. It's tough to put Simmons, Ingram, or any future pick above some of the young guys we have in the league right now. Anyway, to get into the real young guys, you gotta start with Karl-Anthony Towns, who is Reddit's favorite player. His ability to create down low as a big man is great. He's shown some pretty nice post ability, so it seems that you can't just put a top defensive big man on him and expect that to be the fix. And it seems like he's also making it his mission to break the center position by being a good three-point shooter as well. I understand I'm not exactly breaking bread by saying this. I also have no idea if I used the term breaking bread correctly, but I think you know what I mean, or you got no clue, because I have no clue. Towns is great. Also, his playmaking abilities seem to be pretty damn good, so if you want to double team him, good luck, because it ain't going to happen. His defense has also shown signs. I figure under Thibodeau he can be a real lockdown defender as a big man. Next up is Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you can spell his last name, you deserve a cookie. And also, if you tell me you can spell his last name, I don't believe you. And I also don't believe that a guy who's like nearly 7 feet tall has the abilities of a friggin' point guard. I mean, his ball handling ability, how he can get by defenders and get into the paint. How the hell are you supposed to stop a real-life 2K demigod? People get banned for making this guy in a video game, and he's a real-life thing. He's also a damn good playmaker. Is he going to be a Chris Paul-esque, making sure the offense is running perfectly? Maybe, maybe not, but if you want to provide any help defense, he has the height and the awareness to make any friggin' pass he wants to. Giannis is a cheat code. The only thing stopping him from being really unbeatable is he needs to work on the jumper a little bit, but he's so damn good at everything else, it might not even matter for him in the long run. So I think Giannis has a very good chance of becoming a top 10 player in this league, along with Karl-Anthony Towns. There's a few more young guys, though. One of them being Joel Embiid, the savior of Philadelphia. They said that about Donovan McNabb, but Eagles fans hated him. Hopefully Embiid does not get the same treatment. And he seems like a big man who can dominate in the low post with an array of moves. And while they do say that the post game is dying in today's NBA, you can still kill it from down there. You need more abilities than just that. If you're one-dimensional and you're one of those slow centers that can't do anything besides post up, nobody wants you. Luckily for Joel Embiid, while he seems like he can be Hakeem Olajuwon on that side of the floor, he's also got a lot more abilities. His athleticism is pretty damn decent. It can make him a really good defensive player who can move around the floor well and actually be a presence. So he's the anti-Enes Kanter, if you will. And as a result, his future is really damn exciting for the Sixers. And it's pretty good to say that, you know? Brett Brown and his Australian accent and whoever the hell their GM is at this point, it's good to see that they're finally turning it around. Also, Embiid shows ability to hit three-pointers. So you got a center who can score down low, defend from everywhere, be an athlete, and shoot threes. That's just stupid, man. Hopefully he stays healthy. Now, the following nicknames I'm going to give to Kristaps Porzingis are all by Michael Rappaport. There's the Latvian gangbanger, there's the zinger, there is the only virgin in the NBA, which he thought when Porzingis actually got drafted. Safe to say that one has at least changed. Porzingis. I'm happy for Knicks fans. You know, I'm happy for Sixers fans. I'm happy for Knicks fans as well. They got a real guy to be excited about. He's 7'2". He was created in a lab somewhere that we're not even sure if it was planet Earth. because his ability to shoot as well as move and dribble the ball while being above 7 feet tall, it doesn't make no damn sense, and I'm pretty sure I rhymed again there. And with all respect to Karl Malone, Porzingis may be the best pick-and-roll player that we ever see if he gets himself a really good point guard. Maybe Derrick Rose can end up being that guy, but I don't know. I've mentioned matchup nightmares with Towns and Embiid. Porzingis is the definition of that, because he can be Dirk Nowitzki when it comes to the face-up game, but then he can also be like Klay Thompson when it comes to his outside stuff. He's growing on defense, that's the one question with him. The Zinger definitely has top 10 potential. Andrew Wiggins just scored like 47 points against somebody, I don't remember who it was. Actually, it was the Lakers, funny enough. And it seems like people have dropped off from the hype train of Andrew Wiggins a little bit. Maybe it's because of Towns. Admittingly, Wiggins does have some things he needs to work on. But I mean, the one thing with him, one of his criticisms was the three-point shot. He's been killing it from outside this season, man. If he's got that, combined with his low post game that's way too damn polished for someone that's only 21 years old, combined with his athleticism, I mean, he does have to improve defensively as well. He can fall asleep if you ask him to move around the floor or play off-ball defense. Tom Thibodeau, I'm looking at you. You better yell at Wiggins enough times to where he becomes a lockdown defender. He's grabbing a few more rebounds this year, even if that play was a foul. I would like to see the playmaking increase a little bit more, but Wiggins' potential at only 21, with his scoring inside ability, it's ridiculous. Now, I have a legitimate question for you. Can Devin Booker dunk? I don't think I've ever seen a highlight of him dunking, and whenever I try to dunk with him in 2K, it doesn't work. But that's okay, because he's shown the ability to be a Klay Thompson-esque shooter. His percentages in the NBA have not been as good as you might expect from outside, but he's been asked to do a ridiculous amount for someone this young. But also his craftiness, ability to finish over guys, attack the rim, his ability to create his own shot is what really excites me the most about Devin Booker. He can also hit some shots at some weird angles. I also don't know if he has the ability to grow a beard, but that's okay. He does have to get better at the other side of the floor, of course, which seems to be a theme with guys who are perhaps just a little shade below my real expectations to make top 10. I would also like to see the playmaking increase a little bit more. He was actually averaging about 4 assists per game the last 2 months of last season, so maybe he has that a part of his game, but his scoring ability, the shooting, Devin Booker, he seems like a 25-point scorer. Hopefully he develops a more all-around game, but he could get up there. I would not be surprised whatsoever. Then we got to look at D'Angelo Russell, whose first season was ruined by Kobe Bryant as well as Byron Scott. But he's making the Lakers very exciting right now, and his abilities as a point guard are pretty damn promising. He could shoot threes the moment he walked into the NBA, which is always a good thing, as NBA nerds like me pretty much dismiss you unless you can hit threes nowadays. The playmaking has also seemed pretty damn good, and he's also shown a pretty nice ability of beating his guy off the dribble. But my fears with Russell come from the physical side of things. He does need a lot of work on defense. You don't want to be James Harden 2.0 unless you're also like a one-of-a-time offensive player. But also, his athleticism or lack of it might make it kind of tough for him to be really dominant when it comes to like attacking the paint. Now, neither Steph Curry or Chris Paul are super athletic either, but they make up for it with some elite talent. Can Russell get to that point? Maybe. I don't know. He's definitely going to be very good and probably make a few all-star teams. Top 10, that is a decent amount to ask for. Now, I mentioned Jimmy Butler earlier, and he really might already be the 10th best player in the league, perhaps even higher, to be honest with you, because the defense was always there, but what's really stepped up for him now is the three-point shot. He's shooting over 40% this season from there, and he'll hit it in your face. He can also do it in catch-and-shoot situations. That's a tongue twister for you. Right now, he's averaging like 24 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. He's a creator. The defense, once again, he's scary as hell attacking the paint. And oh, by the way, he's attempting like 10 free throws a game right now, where he's shooting nearly 90%. Jimmy Butler is the complete package when it comes to NBA players. Oh, and by the way, in case you haven't realized, we've gotten to the established players portion of this thing. Kyrie Irving is another guy who I could see elevating his game. And you might already believe he's one of the best players in the league. I wouldn't blame you for it. But with Kyrie, he's definitely gotten some help from LeBron being on his team, Kyrie not having to be the main guy. Is his playmaking and overall leadership really good enough to lead a team on a deep playoff run? I'm not saying he can't, but I think it's a legitimate question. I mean, he's been able to focus on his scoring and not as much on other areas of the floor because LeBron James is the main guy in Cleveland. Who knows if Kyrie will get that opportunity? I think a similar thing can be said for Damian Lillard, who has gotten better defensively. At one time, he was pretty damn bad on that side of the floor. He's gotten up to acceptable, which is nice. And of course, what he does as a scorer is just ridiculous. I mean, the Trailblazers were thought to be a lottery team a couple years ago, and while CJ McCollum helped, Lillard was the driving force of them being a decent Western Conference team. And I mentioned how Kyrie is perhaps the toughest guy to guard in the NBA. Damian Lillard might be the toughest man. He's got some Steph Curry three-point range. He can hit difficult shots. But like Kyrie Irving, is the playmaking in the defense really high enough? Now we're going to talk about DeMar DeRozan, who I'm pretty sure was meant to be playing in like 1975. And then the basketball gods saw him and were like, you know what? We're going to transport you to 2016 where they love three-pointers. And we need you to show them how valuable inside scoring still is. Specifically mid-range jumpers, because holy DeMar to mid-range, this guy does not miss from 15 feet to about 20. He's leading the NBA in scoring at the moment, or at least the last time ESPN told me that. 30 plus points efficient. DeMar makes absolutely no damn sense based on everything that they want in the NBA today, but he does it, and it's good, and he's also, like Jimmy Butler, almost automatic when it comes to attacking the basket as well as getting to the free throw line. But I do think he still has room for improvement. Look, even if he's not going to shoot him, having a three-point shot is still valuable at the end of the day. It just is. And while I feel DeRozan does need to improve defensively, I think if we can see DeRozan really become the takeover guy for them and be like, give me the damn ball, I'm going to win us this game, that sort of stuff, that's what's going to take him over the top. Now, as for DeMarcus Cousins, who has a similar name, look, we're 17 minutes in. It's going to be a picture on this one. I forgot to get footage of Boogie. I'm sorry. DeMarcus, you got to get your head on straight, man. I understand that you're super talented and you can score inside, you can score outside, and the situation around you sucks in Sacramento. But there's a million and one questions about Boogie as a leader. We've seen his temper on the floor. He has to stop being a hothead, he has to be a better leader, and he also needs some better teammates, and I don't know if it's going to happen in Sacramento. But Boogie definitely has a chance. There's also John Wall, who, similar to DeMarcus, his situation isn't the best. He's surrounded by a whole lot of mediocrity. The one other potential star player he has is Bradley Beal, who, I mean, that guy wakes up and he's already like 50% away from just getting injured. He'll stub his toe and be out for 4 weeks, you know what I mean? John Wall is a playmaker, a scorer, attacker of the basket, is great, and he's also one of the better leaders in the NBA today, unlike DeMarcus Cousins. That being said, he does need to improve on his outside jumper, as that's the one criticism you can throw at him, and hopefully he can find himself a few better teammates to really get into the top 10. And I mentioned Blake Griffin before. I think he's similar to DeMar DeRozan. We've seen Blake have some LeBron-esque numbers in the playoffs. I just want to see him do that every single night, on both sides of the floor. He's shown signs of being one of the top dudes in the NBA, but then sometimes he's going to do like his 20 points and 8 rebounds, which is still great, but I need that consistency from you, Blake, on both sides of the floor. And now on to Klay once again, who's interesting to me because, again, from a defensive and a shooting standpoint, he's fantastic and he's top 20 in the league, definitely. My question with Klay is, how good of a shot creator really is he? The Warriors don't ask him to do it a lot, and he's very willing to play within a system, especially because it works. But I fear that his real creation of his shot, as well as getting other people their shot, is just not high enough to really put him in the top 10. And then we look at Draymond Green, another guy who I would love to have on my team, but when you cap out at 15 points per game, if we're being generous, you might be the best, or one of the best defensive players in the league, you might be super versatile, and you might make everybody else's day better. I need a bit more scoring from you to really put you there, Draymond. So we just went through a million names over the span of 20 minutes. If you feel that I left someone out that should have been here, hey, that's all good. Just be respectful about it in the comments section. That's all I ask for. Now, who do I personally think is going to get there? I gotta be honest, I think Joel Embiid is the brightest spot out of the young dudes. I understand karl-Anthony Towns, but with Embiid, I look at a guy who can be dominant in the low post, one of the best guys in the league, who's also going to be a matchup nightmare because of his outside jumper, I don't know how the hell you're going to defend this dude with either big man position. And then he also seems like he can be a hell of a defensive player because of his athleticism. So I'm riding on Joel Embiid to be one of the 10 best players in the league if we fast forward 3 seasons, and if he can stay healthy. And then besides that, I would say I think karl-Anthony Towns could join him in that top 10. As Towns, a lot of the things I just said about Embiid, I can say about Towns as well. Can hit from outside, can score down low, super crafty. And for the established players, I said it before, I think Jimmy Butler's got the spot locked up, and I don't think he's going to let go of it anytime soon. Perhaps Towns or Embiid can force him out of the top 10. I just think with Jimmy's improvement and all that, he's been killing it. So we're finally done. Thank you for watching, and I gotta get the hell up out of here, man. Holy hell.